What's up, everyone? It's the Crypto Oyster here, bringing you the top news in the crypto community. Yesterday, I talked about how El Salvador was looking at making Bitcoin legal tender, and would you look at this? Paraguay to embrace Bitcoin. The Paraguayan congressman calls for adoption shortly after the announcement made by El Salvador, an announcement that I covered in my video yesterday. So he's a congressman and a national deputy of Paraguay, and he's essentially called for Paraguay to take similar action, and he posted this on Twitter, and he also changed his profile picture to the classic laser eyes. So basically what he's calling in this tweet is for the nation to advance with this new generation of technology in blockchain and the crypto community. His tweet is in Spanish, and here's the translation in English. As I was saying a long time ago, our country needs to advance hand in hand with the new generation. The moment has come, our moment. This week, we start with an important project to innovate Paraguay in front of the world, the real one to the moon. This is huge, everyone. Please comment your thoughts down below. I'm really interested to hear whether you think this is a domino effect and more countries are going to come on board. Hey, make a guess on who you think the next country will be. And I also feel that there could be an even longer conversation surrounding how viable this is, right? Like, as a currency, of course it'll work, but they're going to have to implement a lot of teachings to people in the country to really help them understand how to use transactions on using Bitcoin, right? Because they're going to need to understand their wallet address, their public keys, their private keys, costs associated with using the network. It's not going to be entirely smooth sailings, but I'm interested to see how they implement it, especially in countries such as El Salvador and Paraguay that may suffer from a lot of their citizens sitting in extreme poverty. So either way, I think there's going to be a lot to learn from observing these two countries adopt Bitcoin, and I'm certain that other countries will follow in their footsteps. Now let's talk a little bit about the Miami Bitcoin conference that ended a couple days ago and happened over the weekend. It was the largest Bitcoin event in the world and the first major in-person crypto conference since the pandemic started. The article talks about how Miami has essentially gone full crypto. There's Bitcoin ATMs sprinkled in the Wynwood neighborhood. A cryptocurrency exchange called FTX recently bought the naming rights to the Miami Heat's arena. Miami's mayor, Francis Suarez, announced this year that the city would accept tax payments in cryptocurrency, let its employees collect salaries with it, and explore holding some on its balance sheet. The logistics of these announcements were still being studied. Mr. Suarez set a defiant tone. He said, "I'm here to tell all the haters and all the doubters that this is not a moment. This is a movement." And of course, the crowd erupted in whistles and cheers. Even Moishi Mana, a real estate mogul who owned the venue, he walked around the booths, the crypto art, and he's been trying for years, it seems like, to bring companies, people, and the innovation to the city of Miami. And he was just strolling around, basking in Miami's ascent. Talking about New York and San Francisco, he said, "Every city has its own golden age." He added, "Nothing stays forever." I believe he's alluding to how New York and San Francisco tend to appeal to entrepreneurs and companies, but now it seems that people are switching over to Florida, specifically Miami. He also talked about how the devotion to a religion, he compared that to the crypto community. And he said, the more you fight religion, the more holy it becomes and the stronger the movement becomes, he said. An interesting take, I'll say. And of course, on stage, you had Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, the entrepreneurs and cryptocurrency billionaires. Cameron wore an interesting t-shirt that said "Rage Against the Machine," alluding to Wall Street and the Federal Reserve, even stating, "If you own a Bitcoin today, you will be a millionaire in the future, for sure. Congratulations," he said. Later, Jack Dorsey, who's obviously known as the chief executive of Twitter, the payments company Square, offered his own endorsement. He said if he were not working at Square or Twitter, he would be working on Bitcoin, he said. And further to back what Jack Dorsey said about Bitcoin that I don't think there's anything more important in my lifetime to work on. And honestly, I agree with him. I agree with him in the sense that it's not necessarily just about Bitcoin, but it's about the blockchain technology. It's about the way that smart contracts and oracles and decentralized finance will change the world, literally. and change people's lives. And to be honest, that's probably one of the main reasons that I started this channel, was because I wanted to get involved in this space. I don't think this space is going anywhere. I think it's going to do the exact opposite. It will continue to grow. The nature of the technology will be ubiquitous. It's going to be everywhere. And I want to be a part of that. And again, even Dorsey's saying that Bitcoin has the potential to create a new financial infrastructure that's more inclusive and supportive for underserved communities. One example I can think about is decentralized exchanges like SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, Uniswap. You need to obtain a MetaMask wallet, buy some Ethereum. No one's going to stop you from using those exchanges. They're decentralized. They can't halt your trading like Robinhood has done in the past, or other exchanges have done in the past. You're free to do what you want. So I think it's a lot more inclusive and supportive for everybody to be able to use. And this is very true too. Think about this. For those living in different countries around the world, Dorsey also sees Bitcoin as a way to protect against currency devaluation and expedite transfers of funds across borderlines, he explained. On the point of currency devaluation, I mean, we're seeing that with the US dollar, right? The buying power over years decreases over time. That's why if you look back and maybe say the 1920s, you could buy a gallon of milk for 5 cents. That gallon of milk is now $5, right? So there's clear devaluation of your money. And in some places, hyperinflation is a serious issue in countries where you have to literally carry around barrels of money to simply pay for a piece of meat. And moving funds across countries is also something else for the use case. It's incredibly fast to obtain cryptocurrencies in a matter of seconds, whereas people who are trying to send money back, to families, to their relatives, to their parents and other countries may have to wait days before that money can arrive. This is essentially erasing borders for money. It's sounding more like Dorsey is really focused. It sounds like Dorsey is a Bitcoin maximal, specifically on the currency of the internet. I don't necessarily agree with this, and the reason is because if you look at the economics of Bitcoin, it's a deflationary asset. Every 4 years, the halving cuts rewards for the miners, meaning that there is less Bitcoin in circulation. And again, there's a fixed supply, around 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be created. Why would I sell my Bitcoin for a product or anything else when I know that in the future, my Bitcoin will be worth more than it is now? It makes no sense. I'd rather use fiat. I'd rather use the US dollar. That a dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow. So use money, fiat, rather than Bitcoin. So I don't necessarily agree that it's going to be necessarily the currency of the internet, because people are investing it to make money.